All right, we're live. Hey guys, thanks for joining. We are live with Don the Dragon Wilson, 11-time world kickboxing champion, greatest sport kickboxer in the world, and of course, the star of many movies, including the one coming out possibly later this year or early next year with Alan Delabie, The Shepherd Code. Alan, of course, is an actor. Did you direct The Shepherd Code as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, also a director and a producer. So we're going to talk about that. Make sure to ask us whatever you want in the chat. But just to start off, Alan, how did you come up with the Shepherd Code? Like, is this a story you wrote yourself?
Yes, definitely. Um, at the first place, I have started to write the sequel of my vampire movie, The Last Nosferatu, and for some reason, my distributor says they have so much um, horror movie. They put money inside, so they said, "Oh, you should wait." And but we have to stay busy. We want to, you cannot wait nothing, otherwise you're done. So I said, "Okay, I'm about to do a thriller action," and I did it. And I convinced another producer to do it, and yeah, we do it right away. And I have it's been for a long time. I want to work with Don because Don is amazing. I discovered Don the Dragon Wilson on the VHS tape, and I was impressed by the charisma, the skills he have also, and it's a dream come true to work with him.
Okay, so like, when did you reach out to him? Like, did you know him before, or did you just
Yeah,
randomly reach out to him to get him in the movie?
yeah. I know Don for a couple of years. The first time I met Don, it was in a Dragon Fest long time ago. It was in 2014 in Dragon Fest. That the first time I met him, and yeah, year after years, we see each other. We met. He invited me for a martial art kids event in San Diego. I remember the movie premiere in San Diego for martial art. Yeah, and I asked him. I said, "Yeah, hopefully we have the chance to work on a movie." Yeah, and sometimes it takes a little bit more time, but we did it.
Nice, nice. Wow. Tell us a little bit about the Shepherd Code. Like, what's the story? What's it about exactly?
The story is about an ex-assassin who wants to make a revenge and a redemption on the same time. So Don play Lewis, the boss of Alex Lapierre, my character. So Don, he play a very intense character, and a lot of acting, of course. And so he asked me to protect this girl from Europe, and for an old friend of him, and I have to do it for him. So it's like, okay, I'm done with it, but I do it because you're my friend and because you saved me in the past. So I do it. It's going to be the last mission for this one, but I don't want to spoil for the sequel because the sequel will be very intense, and I think we will have more fights on the sequel.
Okay. And yeah, if you guys want to watch a trailer, it is linked below. You're very heavily featured in the trailer, Don. Can you kind of share your experience with the film and how it was working with Alan?
Well, it was great working with Alan. He's a professional and very enthusiastic on the set. I like that because I feel the same way. If we're not happy to be on the set, we shouldn't be there. Actually, because there's a lot of it's a group project doing movies. It's not just a one man show, and Alan's at the top of the group, so everything flows downward. His enthusiasm makes me enthusiastic. The camera people, the sound people, the extras, everybody feels positive about the film if the producer slash star of the movie displays that. Now, I'm only in the beginning and the end of the movie, and for me, it's an acting role. It's just, a fun thing for me. But I was happy to do it, and I look forward to doing more in Alan's next movie
Yeah,
if he does the sequel next.
yeah, the sequel.
Yeah, I'll have more of an active part.
Oh yeah, be
yeah,
prepared because I think. Oh yeah, I have already started the script, and oh my gosh, we will shoot if the producer from UK wants to give us the opportunity to do it. Believe me, we will have a great cast. We'll shoot in Los Angeles, and also we'll shoot in UK and Brussels. So I think Don will be in Europe, so with this amazing cast and crew in UK, because I would love to say thank you so much for the UK cast and also the stunt coordinator Joe Allett from UK, Michael Morris, associate producer, and Lewis, who is a producer, executive producer. David Worth also, because David Worth helped me so much helped me for this movie too. And I'm very happy because when we shoot in LA, we have David Worth with us. So for the first time, I was very happy to have David Worth and Don on the same, room.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just a reminder for you guys, David Worth was a cinematographer on Bloodsport and also the cinematographer on Kickboxer. And he also, according to him, I heard him in interviews, directed Kickboxer, even though I think Mark Dessel takes credit for that because he was a producer. So
yeah,
maybe I'll get Mark Dessel on someday, or David Worth, and they could, discuss who really directed that film. But yeah, as far as the sequel goes, it sounds like is that going to be the next film you do, Alan? The sequel to The Shepherd Code?
Yeah, for my own, yes. But I have other project who will arrive, but not produced by me, because I cannot spoil for nothing. Because the thing is, it's always good to talk about it when it's signed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
So
I don't want to talk too prematurely, of course.
I work very hard, and I have some couple of script beside, and my strategy is, how it is on this business. You have to have a strategy and think about it, and but I will not knock on the door of people if we don't have the budget. When I contact Don, because I know the film will be made, because it's very important, because I am like that. I want to do this sequel. I will fight for it, and but sometimes it's not on our position. It's the position of a team,
Mm-hmm.
because a movie is a team. Without people around, camera, sound, extras, producer, we are nothing.
Yeah, such a collaborative effort. I got a question for you. Do you actually prefer to direct your own movies, or would you rather actually have a different director and you just focus on the acting?
To be honest, yeah, I would prefer to be focused on more acting. But sometimes it's all about the budget. It's all about a lot of things, and to be honest, when I take everything in my hand, I know it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You don't edit the film though, right? You have
No.
Okay.
I don't edit the film. I have David who coordinates also. Now we watch the cut, and we discuss about some stuff. Sometimes we cut, sometimes we extend the scene and stuff. So he teach me a lot. Is David Worth is my mentor. So he know me for 13 years, and he helped me so much to learn more about how to make a movie. It's like a film school.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Don, here's a comment from Bruce Luce 84. He said, "Happy 69th birthday, Master Don Dragon Wilson."
Thank you. I had literally 3 birthday parties in Australia for my birthday.
That's awesome, man.
It's birthday cake while I was over there. I told the Australians, I said, I came a light heavyweight. I'm leaving a cruiserweight.
That's funny. Hey, speaking of which, talking about leaving a cruiserweight, I talked to your buddy Mike Evans. You used to train with him back in the day, right? Mike Evans, former professional boxer.
Yeah, Mike Evans. Yeah, I think we've trained in the same gyms. I mean, we never worked out together, but yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, and I'll tell you more about this later, but he's involved with a very big event going down next year, and I told him all about you and the Tong Po fight. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll finally get that on like a big enough venue, such as the one Mike Evans is putting together.
Well, I've been approached by plenty of people, and I will be going to this month. I'll be going to the Seminole. In Miami, they have a place where what was a Holyfield did his exhibition, the Seminole Indian Hard Rock Casino or something. And so I'm talking to those people as well. I've been, I'm not out even looking for fights, but I've been approached by promoters because I'm perfectly made for this kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A former champion who also does movies. So I got the exposure worldwide from the movies more than the fighting. Only people that know me in the fighting are the hardcore martial art fight fans, kickboxing fans. But the general mainstream martial art movie world, I also got some fame from that. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely doing one. I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't. The money's good. It's safe. Nobody's getting hurt in these exhibitions. So yeah, I'm not going to do just one. I'm going to be doing that.
Yeah, you got to do a few of them, man, after you put Tong Po in his place, right?
Any of them is they want to set up against anybody they want. Actors, fighters, boxers, kickboxers, doesn't matter.
Okay. Hey, speaking of movies, by the way, Crushers Movies and Games said, "Hi, Don Wilson. I'd like to know if you have any other movies of yours coming out by Vinegar Syndrome on Blu-ray, as you only have 2, Red Sun Rising and Whatever It Takes. Like, are there more of your films coming out?"
Well, you know what? It all depends on the rights, because I know Vinegar Syndrome is very supportive of my old movies like that. And I'll do anything that they ask. They ask for some interviews for me. And of course, anything that promotes my product, I'm proud of the products that I've created over the years. And when they re-release them, like I've got a lot of movies at least 6 movies just released in Germany. And not for the first time, but re-released again with new artwork and interviews and things. So I like doing that. I like promoting these older, because I get new fans. But believe it or not, every other year, there's a whole new group of martial artists. And those martial artists aren't familiar with my movies. So for having them re-released, it's a good thing for me. So I'm very supportive of Vinegar Syndrome, and I hope they keep buying Dragon movies and re-releasing them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Here's another cool question. Results may vary. I am wondering, Don the Dragon Wilson, are you hoping that a young generation will feel inspired to be martial arts action stars in the future? Because when all your movies came out back in the day, me and Ellen grew up and wanted to be martial art movie stars, like UFC wasn't a thing. So like, do you hope a generation now like wants to be inspired?
Yeah, of course. I like seeing guys, come up from unknowns to become action stars. Like Scott Adkins is great. I'm a big fan of his. I mean, he's an actor / martial arts actor. And I like it. Of course, anything that's good for martial arts in the end is good for humanity, in my opinion, whether it's movies or whether it's the promotion of MMA and kickboxing or point fighting, whatever it is that promotes martial arts, I'm behind it. But I can say this, my career, and this is not due to me, I'm not taking credit for it, but I have never been in the position I am right now, which is 6 producers have approached me and they've said, any movie you want to make, I will finance. 6 movies. And one of the people is the guy who owned PM Entertainment. He's produced almost 150 movies. And he knows I did 6 movies for him, all 6 big money makers. So he came to me and said, Don, I want to get back in the business, and any movie you want to make, I'll finance. And so I'm sitting on the biggest opportunities I've ever had as an actor. And my agent died a year ago. Oh. And I realize now that I underpaid him all the years. I had one agent since 1985, Ray Cavalieri. He passed away. And I paid him 10%. He was underpaid because he would have set these deals up and I would be back-to-back line for the next 2 years with movies. But I am not, I've got to find scripts. I've got to talk to directors because it's got to be the right director for the right movie. And I never have been involved in the movie as a producer that lost money. 30 movies, 30 money makers. And so I'm not just going to jump on it. Most actors would just jump on and say, oh, I'll do this movie, and just throw a script out there and get something done just to make the money. But you know what? Luckily for me, I didn't have I quit the gambling and I don't have a drug problem, and I don't need the money. I don't need the money from any of the producers. So I'm not desperate. I'm just going to pick 6 projects that I believe in. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to have to search. And
Don,
if I've got other projects like yours and little things, I'll still work for other people's movies. I know I'm not cutting other people out of my film career, but as a producer, I've produced probably over half of the movies I appeared in, co-produced them.
Yeah, which is great.
So
you have a little bit of like more creative control there. Don, I got to put you on the spot a little bit real quick. Don, I got to put you on the spot real quick. Remember when I was in California training with you, I told you about the script that I wrote, the one that Sheldon Lettich loves. You never signed the NDA. You got to sign it so I could send you the script, because I'm telling you, you're going to love the script, man.
Well, you know what? You're the second person that's asked me to sign an NDA. But
okay.
I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. I will sign.
I just had to remind you, man, since you're talking about all these.
I don't even know how to sign. You know what? Since I don't have an agent, I never did any of this stuff. My agent would have gotten that all taken care of, and then he would just send me the script. And so I will look at see what it is I have to do. I understand you can sign things, because I just did. You know, I've never done any of this business stuff. I've had managers, agents, business managers. I mean, you know, I gotta become more of a businessman until I get another agent, maybe. You know, actually, that agent worked as a personal manager. I realize that now. He did more than an agent's work, because I never even. I apologize for not getting to it, but you know, my life is a little bit stressful right now, not because of the movies. Like I said, it's the best position I've ever been in, but it's because of personal things going on, health issues in my family. Basically, it's my brother.
Sorry to hear about that.
Close to him, and and I'm dealing with that literally on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis.
Oh,
and it's I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to go through something like this, but I'm not the only one going through it. I mean, there's millions of Americans and people throughout the world dealing with this type of situation. So I'm one of many. Don't deserve any more sympathy or anything than anybody else, because it's just something that people have to. As the population gets older, there's going to be more people with this condition. You know?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man, because I know you're close to your brother. Like my brother, for example, is my best friend, you know, and from what I can tell, you and your brother are very close relationship too.
Close in age and close in.
Oh, what was that, Don? I think
now, dealing with it, you know, I'm not going to hide it. It's called cognitive decline, and it has not been diagnosed as Alzheimer's, although they're giving him Alzheimer's medication. So it looks like the doctors are, you know, prognosis is he might have.
Yeah,
Alzheimer's.
That's really rough.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wouldn't wish on anybody, and I'm not the only one, but it's not easy. And that's distracted me from everything, because, you know, we can talk about movies and scripts and money and business and all kinds of things. And to me, I put a certain amount of my emotional energy into it. But the only thing that really upsets me is the health and well-being of my friends and family.
For sure.
That does mess up my positive outlook on everything, and my energy and my attention. Everything else, we can. Some days life is a roller coaster ride. Some days you're going to be way up, and some days you go way down, and you just got to enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? Enjoy the
ups and downs. The downs make the ups that much better, especially when you swing out of them, you know?
Yes. if you look at it as a challenge, because I was the number contender, I don't kickboxing, and I had a fight on ESPN. I got knocked out in the first round in the tune-up fight. Now, do you know what that feels like when you're the number one contender? You've knocked out 20 guys straight, and the fighter with the worst record I ever got in the ring with knocked me out in the first round. Now that's
that's crazy.
That's as low as you can get. And I was just before that at the highest. I was the number one contender. My very next fight was on CBS for the world title. And I got TKO'd in the first round. Now, you know what? It's tough coming back from that. And it took a while. It did. And I ended up being the champion and having a great career. But I'm just saying, it hasn't been a it has been a roller coaster ride in the film career. You know, up and down. But when videos first came out, Alan, that's when I started making movies. And that's probably what you watched my first movie as a child. Yeah. It was a video.
Yeah.
And when the videos disappeared, then it became a struggle to stay in business. I moved to cable TV. I did 4 HBO world premieres. And out of the 4 world premieres, all 4 of them were my original ideas. So my original ideas were the most successful thing I do as a producer. It's not my acting. I'm not winning acting awards, but I tell you what, every producer in Hollywood, low budget producer, independent, wanted me to star in a movie because I had 4 different producers with HBO world premieres. And right now, today, I said I got 6 producers coming to me saying, any movie you want to make, I will finance. And it's because of my track record. Anybody?
Oh yeah, man! If your movies are all making money, and you said you're like 30-0 as far as like 30 successful movies making money, then obviously they're gonna want to keep going to you, producing and making movies because you got that beyond a proven track record there.
If you had the money to make a movie, the smartest thing you could do is find someone like me, if there is anybody else in the independent films that is doing it, because I learned from Roger Corman. Now, anybody who knows film or studied it knows that he has produced 300 movies or more, and all of them are profitable. That's his reputation. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why James Cameron, when he got a little bit bigger budget, became the most successful producer. He produced 2 of the movies, Titanic and Avatar, that were at the time they were released the highest grossing movies in history.
Yeah.
Avatar. Yeah. It's not a coincidence. That's the guy who taught me. He taught James Cameron how to take a popular idea and turn it into a movie. And with popular, I mean something the audience wants to see. You know what I mean? You know, people were saying, why would anybody want to see Titanic? You already know the ending. You know, but
yeah, there were no spoilers in that one.
They said it was going to be a flop. You know, after Terminator, he made a big mistake with the Titanic. Everybody knows the ending. It's going to be a sad ending and nobody's going to go to the movie. What happened was he does Avatar, the first big budget CGI movie. And they say, oh, it's like watching a cartoon. Nobody's going to see this movie. He's going to have a big flop. That's what the experts predicted.
James Cameron always
right now,
proves them wrong. Hey, Don, you're kind of breaking up with the connection. But
Hollywood, nobody did. So he produced 6 episodes on his own, him and his brother.
Hey, Alan, is Don breaking up for you too? The connection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Don, the internet connection is really bad. We'll get you back talking more in a second. Alan, I want to ask you a question. Talking about movies that people want to see.
Yeah.
Matrix Cobretti asked this question.
Yeah.
What was your experience like on the set of JCVD? A follow-up question too. Do you think that movie will ever see the light of day?
You mean how was my?
Oh, not JCVD. He must be talking about the Eagle Path. Oh, never mind. I'm thinking the Eagle Path.
JCVD.
Yeah. Oh, so you were on that. Never mind. I got that confused with Eagle Path.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool to to be on set with Jean-Claude, I got the opportunity to have a breakfast with him at his hotel, and we talk about movie, of course, talk about flexibility, kicking, but yeah, it was cool, you know. But he's unpredictable. Sometimes he can be very very expressive, and sometimes can be very quiet. But we spent a great time. I was, on set. It was okay, nothing special. But yeah, of course, when you met Jean-Claude for the first time, I was said, I was thinking it was more high, but I have the same eye. I was just we have the same eye. He's not super tall. Don is more tall than Jesse and I.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Here's a question for you guys, since I don't know why I have the Eagle Path in my head and got it confused with JCVD momentarily, but
Yeah.
you produced so many films, Don, and had, from what I know, all of them actually came out. Is there any reason why the Van Damme film that he started in 2008 shot more footage for in 2012? Like, why do you think he's never released that film yet? Oh, Don, I think you're on mute. I can't hear you, man. Like,
you're mute.
I got the magnifying glass out there. Oh man, did we lose his audio?
Yeah.
Well, if anybody can lip read, they know the answer, I guess, right?
I can tell you something about Eagle's Pass.
Oh yeah. Well, tell us, and maybe Don will get his audio back. But what's your?
I think the problem, they cut different, edits of Eagle's Pass. Christopher, his son, do an edit. Another guy from Belgium do an edit. Another guy from China do an edit. And I think something was not correct on the story. Sometimes you want. I think Jean-Claude, if he's never released this movie because he was unhappy with the ending.
Oh, just that. So you think the bulk of the film is good, but the ending just doesn't work for whatever reason?
Yeah. I think apparently the ending was what I heard. So some people who watch the private screening,
sure,
they said the ending was not. It's like, the movie, like at the ending, like a dream, something like confusion, and also you can see the end of the world. Very like, something very different, And so people watch a thriller about a guy who is in love with an ex-prostitute. That's the story of Eagle's Pass.
Sure.
But something happened, the redemption of the character of Jean-Claude, and then the end of the world and stuff. So it was completely, I think after reflection, he reshoot some new scene. But, if you reshoot some footage 10 years after, you look different.
Oh, sure. And he could incorporate that in the story, because they shot stuff in 2008. They reshot more stuff in 2012. Yeah. They could shoot stuff now and maybe try to incorporate in the story. It'd be quite a film, possibly. Oh, here's a comment real quick. Only the strong. Thank you for the, I think these are Danish kroners, 89 of them that he gave me out for the channel. Thank you. He said, big fan of the Don the Dragon Wilson. I first saw him in Bloodfist. I didn't know he was a kickboxing world champion. I loved his films from childhood. He is my childhood hero. I wish him the best in life. And I'm sure a lot of us feel the same, of course. Don, is your audio back? Say something. No, his audio is still not back, guys. Audio is still not back. Well, let's just keep feeding Don these compliments then. Tim's Foil. Most people love Red Sun Rising. Another favorite of mine is Grid Runners, co-starring Ken.
Me too. I really love those one, and I'm a huge fan of Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside. That guy kind of disappeared, didn't he?
No, I saw recently something with him. It was a movie shot in 2021.
Okay, okay. Oh, JJ, by the way, JJ says, let Don know with sign language that he's on mute. Well, Don's aware he's on mute, man. He's trying to figure it out. Jillian Slowwater Banks. Hey, Don, maybe if you pop out and pop back in, it'll be fine. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's look at this. Steve America, please do Red Sun Rising Part 2. Here's a question for you, Alan. Like, what's your favorite Don the Dragon Wilson movie?
Oh yeah, I really love the trilogy of Ring of Fire.
Oh, the Ring of Fire, yeah.
Yeah. I really love Bloodfist 1 and 2, but Ring of Fire 1, I really love the story like Romeo and Juliet, you know.
Mhm.
That's the story of love. I think also I was impressed by the split of Gary Daniels on that one.
Yeah, Gary Daniels. He's always been a standout, man. He's one of the guys I'd say in that era because you know I the biggest Van Damme fan as far as like I love his screen presence, the way he moves and does his kicks, especially. But Gary Daniels was always a standout too. He was like another. It's basically if I had to rate the top 3 kickers in those martial arts films, it'd be Jean-Claude Van Damme, Gary Daniels, and Philip Ree. At least for me. Like, what about you?
Correct. And also Jean Frenette.
Who?
Jean Frenette. Jean Frenette is a world champion of kata. If you see him, Jean Frenette, you will be very impressed. He's an amazing kicker. He did a very... that's, to be honest, he was also on some movies.
Oh, so he was in movies. See, I never even heard of the dude.
Yeah, he was on Police Academy Part 3.
Police Academy, really?
No. He played the instructor. You see him do a demonstration.
Really? In that movie? That's funny.
Yeah, he was on. He's a stunt coordinator.
Hey, Don's back.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We got him.
Okay.
We got him. Oh, let's go back to that question. Why don't you think that Van Damme movie was ever released?
You know, there's so many reasons why it could not be released, possibly, that I can't come up with one exact until I know more information. I don't know why, but it does happen. There's been many films that, for example, there could be a lawsuit involved. I've had that. There's a lawsuit and they're fighting each other so they don't release it. And then at the time they want to release it, maybe somebody says, hey, look, it'd be great if we could change this part of the story or whatever. But the ultimate reason, it's impossible to guess. You know, there's just so many different reasons. You know, the story may not have worked by the end of the movie. Like they had a script where it ended up not working for the story. They didn't tell the story, the script, and it didn't come through. So there's creative reasons, there's financial reasons, and there's legal reasons. So any combination of those are the reasons why movies get shot but not released.
Yeah, it's happened to me with French Dragon, a movie I did in Canada, Toronto. So the producer and the director, who was also the writer, so problem involved between producer and the director writer. So yeah,
I had a movie. Cynthia Rothrock and I did a movie called Death Fighter. We shot it, and I believe it was 2012. It was released 5 years later, 2017, I believe.
Wow.
And it was lawsuits. The local producers were suing they kept some footage, and the producer, Karen Kang, sued the local producers to get the footage back so she could finish the film. And there was a legal battle. It went on for years. It probably cost more than the cost of the movie. But in the end, Sony bought it, and it did well. It did well for her. She's producing movies now. She's one of the producers who has approached me and said she wants to do a Don Wilson movie. Any movie I want to do, she'll produce. So she's one of the 6 producers that said They do any movie I want.
Nice,
And any
nice.
producer who knows me and knows my record at the independent level would know why they're saying this to me.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
there's a reason why you have half a dozen, wanting you. And if she does another movie with you, hopefully it won't
well,
take 5 years to come out.
well, no, that one I was not my movie. I was not a producer. I just was actor for hire. That movie was Matt Mullins' movie.
Okay.
He was the star of it, and I was like a kind of a buddy picture. I was kind of like the Tommy Lee Jones is what my brother said. My brother said, "You're like the Tommy Lee Jones, kind of a gruff FBI agent or something." No, I was a former soldier or something. But yeah, I was not the star of that movie. And I would have had a big major rewrite if I'd been a producer of that movie because it needed one. But yeah, in the end, it turned out to be a successful movie. So she's still making movies. And yeah, she had me come by her set, and they wrote a scene for me. And that was the excuse she had for meeting up with me and telling me she wants to produce one of my movies. Is they had a scene where a movie, she's got the rights to two of my movies. She put a movie of mine in her movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was at the front of the drive-in movie theater introducing the movie to the audience. And it was a strange thing. You know who's the star of it is Van Damme's daughter and Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Really?
They're the star of the movie. Yeah. And so I've actually worked with, I've appeared in, I think it might have been two movies that Van Damme's daughter was in, actually. Yeah, it might have been, because I think she was in a different movie that I did one scene in. And yeah, but, I haven't seen the movie. I didn't, they weren't working the day that I was there. So I didn't meet her. But yeah, Jean-Claude's daughter is got a budding acting career going.
Here's a question then. Like, you have a daughter. I think she recently graduated college. Had she ever thought of following your path of like either getting into films or anything else like that?
No, not really. You know what? Originally, she did like acting, but she is, she graduated #1 in her class, and she straight A's, and she's on a fellowship. She's in Europe. She's going to travel around the world, and then I believe she's going to go in the medical profession. She's going to be her major was neuroscience, and she never made a B for 4 years, straight A, graduated #1. Yeah, so, and she just graduated from Middlebury College last year. So she's in Europe right now. She's in England. And yeah, I think she's going to go the way of medicine. As it turned out, even though she went to a performing arts school, LACHSA, it's called Los Angeles County High School for the Arts, LACHSA. She graduated, and I believe her counselors said, you know what, she's so intelligent, you can't waste this and do by being an actor. You should go into medicine. And so I think with a neuroscience degree, I guess she's going to be a brain surgeon.
Wow.
I mean, that's where that leads, right? What other job do you get as a neuroscience major? I don't know myself.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, here's a comment. I guess I'll follow in your footsteps then if she's not. This guy said, Viking Samurai, what does Dawn think of you dabbling in acting and getting into fighting? You were on the path of the dragon, which is actually true.
I'm going to make the prediction that Roger Corman made for me. You are going to become a star, David. I'm predicting right now. You're going to become a star. You're going to work in these movies. You're going to get some experience. And eventually you're going to be a star or a co-star on your own, with your own career. There's no reason why you can't make it. Listen, if I can do it, anybody can. If I can do it, anybody can. And the thing is, I can tell you're going to be a great guy to have on the set, energetic, positive thinking. And I've already seen you. Look, people ask me, how good do I have to be in martial arts? Do I have to be a kickboxing champion? No, you do not. Do you have to be a point fighting champion? No, you don't. You just have to be, I tell people, on the level of a decent green belt. and you can fake all these
for
fights.
movies, yeah, you could get away with that.
Yes, for movies, you have a career. Look, Keanu Reeves is great in The Matrix. He's not a world champion kickboxer. He's not a world MMA guy. If he had not done The Matrix, we wouldn't be talking about him being a martial artist, right? And his main thing is he can do movies. But you can definitely do anything that's necessary to become a movie star. No doubt about it.
I am doing a real fight in late January, though, Don. I'm doing it all. K1 kickboxing match.
Name value does help. There's no doubt about that. Name value does. If people know your name, you can turn that into success as an actor. The worst thing an actor can have stop them is this. Don who? Alan who? Because even if they say, oh, I don't like his low budget movies. Oh, I don't like Alan's acting. I don't like his accent. If they know you, it's better than who?
Yeah, at least they know you.
Alan,
if they like you or not, they know you.
Right.
They've heard of you.
Right. They don't have to like every movie. I mean, nobody's going to like I don't like every movie of the stars that I watch. You know, I mean, I like some of them. I like some more than others. And yeah, so we're making a product, entertainment product, 90-minute entertainment. And we're hoping that a big enough audience likes it, that it makes a profit. Because then you'll do another one. You know, you're talking about the sequel. Sequels are not made until they're not decided on in Hollywood until the first one made a ton of money. A lot of money, too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
For somebody to invest in a sequel. Yeah, it can't make $1 because then the producer said, you mean I'm going to gamble $1 million of my money for the hope I can make $1 profit?
Oh, you're breaking up again, Don. Your connection.
I'm being told. You know what? It's got to be my. It's got to be my Wi-Fi then.
Maybe. Hey, let's get this cool question. Mo Howard. Thank you for the donation, Mo. He said, I got to meet you, Viking. Yes, I remember meeting you. He said, I got to meet you, Viking and Don, in New Jersey in January of 2022. That was, of course, was at Sifu Alan Goldberg's event. And then Mo said, I was at Don's seminar, and he said he'd never fight Bruce Lee in a fight. And he wants to ask you the question, would you state for the record that Bruce Lee is legit? Technical difficulties. We got to get this question, man. You might need to pop out and pop back in, Don, because when you did that, we had you really nice for, a good portion before it started wonking out again. Well, I want to know the answer to that too, Mo. I mean, thanks for the donation, but hopefully Don will actually answer it, man. Oh, well, let's go over a couple other comments real quick. Let's see. That's a question for Don. Well, what do you think, Alan? How legit is Bruce Lee in a real fight? Because people will say, oh, he's just a movie guy. And other people say, no, he'd be really great in a real fight. Like, what do you think about Bruce Lee?
I think Bruce Lee will be legit. Yes. And, but, for now, it's easy now when people is passed away a long time ago and to say, oh, this guy can beat this guy. No. And you cannot, it's like fighting each generation, it's different, So it's like, can you imagine now, it's like people says, oh, new generation, now we can do acrobatic stuff, we can do more fancy stuff. The split, it's gone and stuff. It's too easy to do the split. Now we are acrobatic. No, because like I said, it's not because people can do a kick or a split. You need to have the charisma. You need to have the act. You need to have the look. You need to have everything to make it look good on a movie. On a fight, no, you don't need to be ultra flexible, Because sometimes people want some fight and they cannot do the split.
Well, you know what's funny? Speaking of that, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a criteria, and the charisma and the acting is more important because they could always use stuntmen Hollywood's always looking more for the screen presence and the acting over anything else. But when you talk about like the lack of flexibility some people have, something that really surprised me on the last Kumite, because we had a lot of really amazing martial artists doing amazing fight scenes, great choreography. But like a lot of them were like just surprised how flexible I was, because a lot of them couldn't even do the splits, which you would never know watching them kick and do their stuff. But they're not even that flexible, which I was like, really? I thought everybody could do the splits, but
yeah, because why? Because it's a conflict of generation. Because the new generation now watch Scott Adkins movie. So when you see Scott Adkins, you never see Scott Adkins do a split on any movie, right? So it was Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff, and that's why. So they when they watch Scott Adkins movie, they see the acrobatic stuff like the Guyver kick and everything. So they try to be acrobatic like that.
Yeah.
But Van Damme, you know that it was high kick, Yokogeri, a very split 316. So we know that. So it was more visual.
What do you think the next trend is? Because they obviously it seems like, I mean, I'm sure there were guys before Scott Adkins, but as far as like a lot of us, I think he kind of popularized that, at least in film, like where he was combining the tricking, the gymnastics with the martial arts in a very good way.
Yeah.
Especially like in Undisputed 2.
Yeah.
That's when I first seen him.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think the next trend is? Because it seems like everybody wants to push things further, and there's some ridiculously talented guys, especially on Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Oh no, I
see. Do you think they keep going with that in film, or do they bring it back more into the realm of reality? Because nobody's doing 3 flips and kicking a guy. Not that people are necessarily doing helicopter kicks either in real life, for the most part. But do you think they're going to keep just pushing it with more acrobatic stuff, or do you think they're going to tone it back to more like realism?
If you think about it, honestly, so we watch superhero movie, okay? So like X-Men or I don't know, all kind of superhero, DC Comics or Marvel, but it's impossible to fight like this in the real life, So and then if you see the movie we loved, like Best of the Best, like Kickboxer, like Don Wilson movies, or Gary Daniels or Olivier Gruner movies, Billy Blank's movie, you see it's more real punch, real kick. Everything is real martial art. What I love the most, movie I love on Scott, it's Undisputed. Because on Undisputed, okay, you have acrobatic stuff, but you have very beautiful punch, very beautiful kick. It's a huge, beautiful combination that's make the big difference. Sometimes when it's my opinion, it's just my opinion. I prefer old school than a new school, to be honest, because it's more now what we need, and that's what I love when I do my own movie. I bring back the vibe of the 80s.
Yeah. Me too, man. Like, I'll just share you what we were going after in the film that I just shot. We're still filming it, by the way. Bloodstorm. Check out the Instagram page, Bloodstorm Movie. One word. Check out the Instagram page, behind the scenes stuff. But what I wanted to capture, because it takes place on an island full of killers and prisoners that had escaped, I wanted to capture just like the visceral intensity of you feeling like all the hits. Because I'll even tell people, I think the fight at the end of Rocky V with Rocky versus Tommy Gunn is one of my favorite fight scenes, because you feel everything, man. So in this film, Bloodstorm, yeah, we got martial arts, but people are getting slammed. I mean, I got like all these real cuts and bruising, and you feel everything. I wanted to capture that. Like, if you feel like you're in a fight, not just, oh, I block like this and I don't even have any facial, reaction.
You want something
like
more
hard hitting, man.
Yeah, I agree. When I was on set with Silvio for fighting him on
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about working with Silvio because he's heavily featured in the trailer, and from what I can tell, just speculating, he's probably like the main villain.
Yeah, he's the main villain, and he did his role perfectly. I wrote this specifically for him, and yeah, he's very cold as ice on his character. That's fit very well. So I pick up the right person for this part, believe me, and no doubt on it. And he did a great job. So we should, yeah, we never waste any second, any time on set. We did it, everything.
Nice. Yeah. And I can speak from experience. Like, he's a pleasure to work with. Such a nice guy. I didn't know what to expect when meeting him, but like such a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very good to work with, man. Cause I worked with him on Warrior Island. And then also we did something together on Bloodstorm as well, because I met him on Warrior Island. I'm like, I gotta work with this dude again, you know?
Yeah. It's been a second time I've working with him because he was on Borrow Time 1 also, and we spent a great time. So, you know, it's always good when you know the person. It's more easy, the vibration and stuff, you know. And you know what is great on this movie world is to create very good connection. You know, very good connection with people. You are pretty much sure they are on the same page, like discipline, also passionate, and also very, very aware of what you want to do. It's very important, because if you are with somebody, no ego, the ego is in the garbage, no ego. I learn from you, you learn from me, you know, it's very important.
Yeah. Hey, Don is back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right. I'm back.
Let's
back. Sorry about that.
rewind real quick, and then I'll go to the other question that was up here. But going back to Mo Howard, he met me and you at Alan Goldberg's event, January 2022. He said he was at your seminar, and you said you'd never fight Bruce Lee in a fight. And he wants to ask, would you state for the record that Bruce Lee is legit?
Yeah, he's definitely a legit martial artist who could defend himself. There's no doubt about it. You just look at him. I mean, he can punch and kick, and he's in shape. He's got a big ego, which means he's not going to fold if he gets hit. He's going to fire back. And yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me.
Oh, we had a question for you, Alan. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This guy was wondering, if they make Expendables 5, would you be up for a role in a film like that? You answer first, Alan. I want to hear what Don says next.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's a huge opportunity. If I was the chance to work with Dolph Lundgren, you know, Jason Statham, yeah, it's a big dream. I mean, who will say no?
You'd be crazy to say no, but what about you, Don, in an Expendables film?
Well, that one, as Alan points out, is a no-brainer.
For sure.
Of course, there's a million reasons why I would like to be in it. I mean, and zero reasons why I shouldn't do it. There's none. There's no reason why it wouldn't be a good experience to work with guys who I've watched myself, who I respect in the business. And
oh no, are we losing Don again?
Oh no. Okay.
Oh.
Wait.
Okay, he might be back. Hey, so
am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
It's okay. It's fine.
You know, Gary Daniels was in the first Expendables. Have they like ever reached out to you to be in any of them? Like, I don't see why they wouldn't have.
No. And you know what? The odd thing is this. The odd thing is one of the first, if not the first celebrity I got to be really good friends with is Frank Stallone. Sly's brother. And I've done things for their family, and I sat with their mother at one event. Sylvester Stallone asked me if I would be a guest at a thing that him and Leonard were doing called The Contender, I think. And it was a reality TV show, and they were announcing it. And so I sat with his mother, and I met Sly there. But, you know, I'm sure he knows of me. But maybe, you know what? There's a lot of, sometimes you don't get offered things because they think you would be insulted by an offer. To be like a bad guy in a real quick, small scene. Do you know what I mean? but I wouldn't. I'd be an extra in The Matrix if they would have asked me, and I'd be an extra in Expendables if they asked me. You know, John, could you do a fight scene? Yeah, I'd do. Look, for me, it's there was a time when I would weigh things. Is this good for a career?
Mm-hmm.
But now, if I just enjoy it, if I just have fun. Alan, when you asked me to be in your movie, do you think that I thought, oh, this is going to be a great career move for me? It's going to move me up to the A-list.
No.
I thought, you're a nice guy. Maybe this will help your film. I hope it does. And it's going to be a fun thing for me to get back into acting again, because I had a 2-year layoff because of the pandemic and everything about it. And to work with David Worth in any regard, just to be on a set with David Worth is to me, you know, we call him an icon, right?
Yeah.
Iconic figure in martial arts. And there's a million reasons why it was good for me and I enjoyed it, Alan. And there's 0 reasons why I would say no. It's not enough money for me. You know, it's
yeah.
Look. There was a time, and look, I don't mean I had a big ego, but there was a time when my rate was, if you wanted me to do what I did, to appear in a movie, was $25,000, and that's not for one day. That's just for one scene, just to put my face. And I would say, yeah, if somebody wants to pay that, I'll go in there and just do one scene for 25 grand. And it was a business move. It wasn't I'm greedy or anything. It's just I'm appearing in my own films, and it doesn't help my career. In fact, it could hurt it if I did somebody else's film in that regard one day.
Yeah.
But now it's not even a consideration. It's fun for me to appear in movies, and I like doing it. Alan's a great guy. Alan's a great guy. Alan, I had fun with you.
Oh, me too. And you know, that's what I love. And you know, like I said already to David Kurzel, the Viking samurai, yeah, it's always important to never give up, to stay focused, you know,
Yes.
and improving all the time, and think about what is, because it's like every film we do, I mean, acting, stunt, anything we can do, it's always improving. And sometimes that was great for me for my trilogy. That's why I do Shaper Code, and I feel I have improved a lot. And for the next, I will improve again and again and again and again.
Nice.
That's
well, I can say this,
the right attitude, man.
The short amount of time we spent together as actors working on set, I was impressed with your work. I was impressed. You were really into character. You took your time. You showed experience. You know, I don't know how many movies you starred in. I don't know everything detail about your career, Alan, but you just you have a presence on camera. When they say action, you're in character, and I like working like that. I mean, that makes it easy for me. You know, all I have to do is look at you and listen to you, and my performance looks better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but actually, I can tell you, but I have this feeling, and I can tell you, I think because this movie Shaper Code will be on film festival, and I guaranteed you, trust me, we will win best duo together. I have this feeling because this scene, and specifically the ending scene, is very emotional. I composed my own the ending with the drone and everything. And the ending, I don't want to spoil, but you can tell the sequel will be intense because I already start the script. I don't want to spoil, but believe me, your character will be very, very strong on the sequel. And of course, what I developed for your character, I want something intense, not too much crazy dialogue, but only will be into your eyes, you will be straight to the point, but all the time when you will talk, you will not lose your time for long speech. And that's why I will straight to the point. And when you punch the guy, you have a scene, this I can say that. I wrote a scene or somebody will provoke you, on a gym because you were punching bag and stuff, and the guy will provoke you because we talk together. It's gonna be a flashback scene where you will knock out the guy with you want to spar with me, because the guy said, hey, old man, you want to fight the new generation? He said, hey man, hey, what you interrupt me? It's not polite. And the guy tried to provoke you. He would say, okay, let me teach you a good way of the kickboxing. And you ridiculous the guy on the ring, but at the end you shake his hand. You said, okay, you see, the old generation can teach you more. That's a good lesson.
Well, I like anything that is a basis of in reality, based in reality, and that's kind of like a real kind of situation that I've literally come up with an experience in many different ways, in many different times.
Yeah, and I probably, who knows if I get the chance, but it's going to be great to have a scene with you, David, also. That's going to be great,
Oh, I'm sure we'll probably work together someday, man. Like, we're both doing movies. I mean, speaking of movies, Don, the producer wanted me to ask you, it's a really cool movie shooting in Oklahoma, post-apocalyptic film. I could tell you more about that, later, but we want to get you involved, man. And again, he's like a great guy named Justin that I met on Warrior Island doing that. And the cool thing, I'm working like on these different films, like doing Last Kumite, Warrior Island. Like I really, meet people with that similar passion that I know we work good together. That's why I'm trying to, and I am doing other projects with these people I meet on these different movie sets, because sometimes you really hit it off with certain individuals. And even some people from like Last Kumite, I'm trying to get involved or help Justin get involved with this movie called The Last Ride, trying to set everybody up if I think they can all mutually benefit and work good together. So try to get you involved in this film, which I'll talk to you more about later. Here's a question for you, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Kino.
Okay.
He's got a Polish YouTube channel. Actually, funny enough, this guy's name's Andre. I actually met him doing The Last Kumite because he'd watched my channel and he had messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to be one of the extras watching all the Kumite fights. Do you think we could hang out one day? So I had dinner with him, hung out with him for a few hours after shooting one day. Great guy. But anyway, he wanted to ask you, Alan.
Yeah.
I saw on your Facebook that you received an Actors Award.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of reward is this? Did you receive it for the movie Borrowed Time?
Yes. Definitely. I received the Actor Awards Los Angeles. It's a film festival from Los Angeles. And I received the best performance for my role of Frank Denard in Borrowed Time. Yes.
Oh, nice. Isn't there something interesting with Borrowed Time 3, by the way? Like if somebody wants like your leather jacket, isn't a company like putting that out?
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised. I was, I don't know for some reason, but this Borrowed Time 3, it's magical because you have a lot of people, they ask me so much stuff like, oh, I love the jacket and stuff. And I don't know, for some reason it's happened. It's happened. And I never asked, this company to do it. I find out. I was shocked.
But so they reached out to you, or did they just put it up and say, hey, if you want that jacket that Alan had, you could buy it? Or did they ask you?
No, they didn't ask me.
They just put it up on the website.
Yeah, but I contact them and I talk to them after.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you didn't expect things, but it's happened. It's happened because I mean, this movie, Borrowed Time 3, it's very magical because you have a lot of drama. It's not about just the fight scene, because I put my energy on acting inside, specifically, on drama. And it's a good. I learned so much doing this film.
Oh, for sure. Here's a question from Only the Strong again. DKK he made a donation, I think in Danish kroners or whatever currency they use. He said, hey, David, I'm waiting for you to cover the Shoot Fighter sequels. That will be awesome. I never even covered the first one, but I always quite enjoyed those movies. I don't know if you guys like those ones with Bolo Young and Zabka from Karate Kid and Martin Cove. Those were fun movies.
I watch those Shoot Fighter. Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. Go over some. Oh, look at this. Old school karate guy said I subbed. Cool channel. Thanks for subbing, man. Anybody else watching? If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because where else are you going to get these cool ass interviews with like Don Wilson and Alan?
If I can stay on this thing.
Don, here's a question. Here's a question. Raw Dog wants to know, who hurt you the most in a fight?
Who what?
Do you remember a specific opponent who hurt you the most in one of your fights?
Oh man, God, there's so many of them. I got hurt in a lot of fights. Well, if they mean damage, I was hospitalized after one fight because the guy used an illegal technique. He threw a knee into my chest, and I held my breath, but it compressed my chest and it blew a hole in my esophagus.
Wow.
And I had to be hospitalized. I was in intensive care for over a week because they were afraid it would get infected. Because literally there was a hole in my esophagus. I guess I didn't know you could do that. Hold your breath, and then you get your chest compressed and it blows a hole in your, yeah. And so that was a weird accidental thing. Not an accident. He did it on purpose, but it was illegal and I wasn't expecting it. And that was probably the most damaging thing because I was in the hospital. They were worried about infection in there if it got infected in any way. Because I did the absolute worst thing you could do. Right after the fight, I drank a Coca-Cola. And the doctor showed me the Coke went down my throat and out that hole. And it's like pouring Coke into your body cavity.
Wow.
And that's what I did. I had Coca-Cola in around my heart, my lungs, everything.
Wow.
It was weird. It's a weird thing. Yeah. When would you ever get Coca-Cola inside your body like that? You know.
Did you at least win that fight?
It. What's that?
Did you at least win that fight, Don?
Yeah, well, because it's illegal technique. Yeah, it was he was disqualified.
Oh, so right away they disqualified him. Interesting.
Oh, immediately, because you can't throw knees when it's illegal. And I couldn't I went down and I couldn't continue because I was basically out of it.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm turning something on because my battery's running low on my phone.
Uh-oh.
So that's going to be the next thing. Are you guys there? It says low battery. We're going to be dealing with
Hey, Alan, question for you, man.
Got it finally working.
Oh, you okay? Question for you, Alan. Mr. Delabie is doing a movie that pays homage to the original movie depiction of Dracula Nosferatu.
Yeah.
What are all your thoughts on the original, and can you talk about your vampire movie?
Yes. Yeah, the first, the 1922 Nosferatu movie, black and white, is very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And my vampire is not like that's respect the code of the vampire. I mean, he cannot stay. He cannot watch the sun and everything. Is always on the dark. He suck blood and everything. And it's. When I did this movie, to be honest, I want a story like a guy who became step by step a monster, so you can feel when you watch this movie the character of Ethan, step by step it changed, and you can see the makeup is amazing. I really love. I got the chance. If I don't have this makeup for this movie, I will not do it, because I don't want to do a vampire just with the lenses and the teeth, you know.
Sure,
It's really,
sure.
I want something special. And also my vampire was a little bit cannibal, you know, like he hit, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a mutation of the vampire. You can feel something very like. And you know what is funny? When I won some award with this character. The body language is very important when you play a character like that. It's very different, and the way I did it, I enjoyed every minute. 3 hours sit on the chair on the makeup, and it was, you cannot move because you have, you know, different prosthetic on the face and everything. They mold my face, they do my hands and everything. And yeah, it was tough and amazing at the same time, because this type of movie, I really love horror, you know. I'm a huge fan of horror also. Sure. At the same time, but yeah, to be honest, it's if people love vampire movie, they will not disappointed about the way I bring back the legend.
Okay, cool. Hey, Don, question for you. Raw Dog's asking, and I guess this would entail maybe a possible gym fight. Did you and Benny Urquidez ever tango? Oh, no, he's on mute again. Don, you're on mute again. We can't hear you. Hey, Don, say something real quick. I think you might. No, he's still muted. Well, we got to find out the answer to that. Maybe Don can exit and re-enter the room again and reset everything, right? Hey, Alan, while Don figures out the audio, gets that back on. So, do you prefer action films? I mean, I know you just talked about the horror film. Like, would you want to do a drama, or would you specifically just want to kind of keep doing something with at least some action elements in there?
I love action, I love drama, and I love thriller, I love horror. So I think I can do those type of movie, you know. Why not a comedy? But it needs to be, you know, probably an action comedy. Why not?
Oh, an action comedy. That could be cool. Let's see. Kapow Comic Book Show. Thank you for the $5 Australian. He said, I hope Don got to check out our interview while in Sydney, Australia at the Bloodsport. I think you meant blood fight screening. I don't think you did a Bloodsport screening with Don. What else we got? Vantober has begun. Is there any prospect Viking for getting an interview or even meeting Jean-Claude? I'm sure that'll like eventually happen at some point. Hey, it looks like Don is back. Hey, Don.
Am I back?
You are back. So my cat's making a lot of noise down here. So have you and Benny ever like had a hard sparring match or anything back in the day in the gym?
As I recall, we sparred once. And what I learned when I sparred him was the feeling I got was his defense is much better than what I thought. I thought in Benny's style, he's so aggressive. He's all about offense and knocking guys out. I thought that his defense was lacking, but it is not. He is very hard to hit, and that's the biggest feeling I got out of it. And you know, it's odd. I worked out in his gym for years. We're there every day, but I don't approach him and say, "Hey, Benny, you want to spar today?" And he never came up to me and say, "Don, let's spar." It's strange. I can't explain it. I don't really understand it myself, but I felt, I guess I felt uncomfortable about just walking up and just seeing if he wanted to spar. but we did spar once, and that's what I got respect for him. I realized, wow, he's got a great defense. He's not easy to hit, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that. By watching him fight and by listening to him, I took his seminars when I was young. You know, I took one of the seminars. I didn't. I underestimated him. Let's put it that way. I underestimated his defense, and but any fighter that knows me, anybody, once you've been in the ring with me, and it's a real fight, and you find out that it's not easy to hit me, even though it looks like, oh, well, his hands are down. His hands are down. But yeah, but Johnny Terrio thought the same thing. He thought I'd be easy to hit. Yeah, that's why he thought he'd knock me out in 5 rounds. But he found out after 12 rounds that I'm not that easy to hit. And a lot of times I look open just for the fact that I'm a counter fighter, and I'm wanting you to throw that roundhouse kick at my jaw or throw that overhand right. Yeah, you tap a guy on the chin a couple of times, they realize, hey, wait a minute, he's not so open. Anyway, it happened with me and Benny. I realized he's not as open as I thought he would be.
Quick question, Don. So you said you guys, neither one of you ever really approached each other, and you're both obviously amazing world kickboxing champions and legends. Like, so how did that sparring match come about? Was there like a third party in the gym saying, hey, I want to see you guys in there together? Oh, Don froze again.
Yeah.
Don froze again. Boy, he's got to beef up his Wi-Fi, man. But let's go over a couple of these other comments here. Shin Batman 84 said, Don, are you still going to fight Tong Po? Well, I'm hoping that will still go down at some point next year in a huge venue. I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, a guy named Mike Evans would be involved, and it would be huge, man. Oh, look at this guy. Question for Don, who's not here right now. Do you think Van Damme could have been kickboxing champion if he trained him? I think maybe if Don trained him. And would Don be open to doing a movie with Van Damme? Well, that's a cool question. Let's see what other comments we have. That guy's talking about Don's boxing career. Oh, the Bane King. Say hello to Don for me. He was one of my heroes growing up. Yeah, a lot of Don fans. I think Don's coming back.
I'm back. Okay.
Okay, here's another comment. Thanks for the $5 Australian, Kapow Comic Book Show. He said, it was great to catch up with Don and interview him in Sydney, Australia at the Bloodfist screening. I seen that interview, and you were talking about doing multiple fights and you're getting back into movies and you have all these movie producers lined up wanting to work with you, which you talked about here as well. But yeah, that was a cool interview that Kapow Comics Book Show had posted. Don keeps disappearing. Shin Batman. Don the Dragon Wilson versus Benny would be good, but I believe Don can beat Tong Po. What do you think, Alan? Who wins that? Because you've worked with both guys, Kesey as well as Don.
No, Mohamed is a good boxer, but it's a match of kickboxing. So Don is a great kicker, and also is very strong. And the reality is it's an exhibition match. So let's see.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Can you everybody hear me?
Oh yeah, you're back.
Oh, great. Well, I'm not touching anything, so I should be good. Michelle Kesey and I, this whole thing, David had the great idea, is in an exhibition. Exhibitions are not fights. It's not me trying to figure out how to knock them out. It's just us showing our skills. And yes, I did say that if something disrespectful was to happen, of course I would respond. And I'm sure Michelle's the same way. If I kick him in the groin, I don't think he's going to be very happy as a boxer. Boxers don't kick each other in the groin. But or if I throw a knee or an elbow, or if something disrespectful happens in the ring, well, then the other person's going to respond. That's just normal.
Sure. Yeah.
But I expect it to be like Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. They both just showed their skills, and it was an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah.
But it's neither one scored a knockdown, neither one stunned the other one. They didn't hurt each other. It's not that kind of a fight. It's not a fight of that nature. I don't believe the athletic commissions would even allow that, to happen with a guy my age. I'm 69. Have you ever heard of a 69-year-old fighter getting knocked out?
No.
It doesn't happen because there are no 69-year-old fighters. We don't even, the medical doctors at the commission don't even know what happens to a 69-year-old's brain when it gets hit, because there's not a wealth of information out there. Like maybe when you're 69 and you get hit with a solid left hook, it does a different kind of damage than it does when you're 18.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't want to take that chance. So these exhibitions, while we're talking about, neither one of us wants to look bad, and things could get escalated and whatever. There's the potential for that. There's no doubt about it. There's potential. We both have egos, and we're not going to want to be looking bad. But in general, we're just going to show our skills. And
Sure.
But I believe the audience is curious enough that they would pay to see it.
Oh, for sure.
They still want to see it. Well, look, they're doing it with Mayweather and Logan Paul, right? They did it. Everybody wanted to see what would happen. And it was interesting, but it wasn't a real fight. I mean, what the heck? There's a weight divisions in boxing, right?
Mhm.
Logan Paul probably weighed in at about 200 pounds. So he's a 200-pound guy fighting a guy. Maybe Mayweather came in at 150, 155, maybe. And that's way over his weight division. He's a junior welterweight. Welterweight was his probably top weight. So it's not a pro fight, but it will be entertainment. It will be entertaining, I believe. I believe Michel's got skills. He's going to show them. And I believe if I'm kicking and he's kicking and he's punching, it's it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. He's bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah, you know how I market
Right,
it though. It's the greatest sport kickboxer, obviously you, versus greatest movie kickboxer, because I think in all the movies, Chong Po is probably the most well-known
sure.
movie character. So it's great marketing.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. He has some amateur boxing experience. He was an amateur boxer, so he's got some hands. He worked with Van Damme for years, so he's familiar with kicks.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, Van Damme throws great kicks, so I'm sure he's seen kicks coming at him. But I don't think he's, experienced anything like what I can do if I open up on him. And
yeah, it'd definitely be. Now that's when it would be really entertaining if you opened up on him. A quick question for you, Alan.
Yeah.
Results may vary. Alan, do you hope that they will make a remake of Bloodsport in the future with a brand new martial arts action star?
Good question, but look, they remake Kickboxer, and it was not the same vibration.
No.
Why? The music. We need a good music on a martial art movie. Okay, so and then something they mess. I don't know. And if my suggestion for if they do a remake of Bloodsport, why not Scott Adkins?
I think Bloodsport's one of those films that they should just not remake. There's a handful of them. Rambo, Bloodsport, Enter the Dragon. What do all those have in common? The specific actor that was in them. Van Damme, Stallone, Bruce Lee. Those movies were so good because of those individuals and what they were doing with their lives at that time, I feel. So some remakes might make sense. Other, like Terminator, that doesn't make sense, man, because you're never going to have another guy like Arnold, But remakes in general, it's always controversial. And let me ask you this, Don, since you've been in so many movies, of course, some of your more popular ones were the Bloodfist series. would you be upset if they remade that, or would you be like, cool, I think they should remake it with somebody else? You're muted again, Don. Every time we got to the good questions, you're muted. Don, we can't hear you. We got to go back. You got to exit, come back. We need to hear your answer to that question. That's a good question, right, guys? I want to know what the guy who was in all the movies, what he would think.
I don't like too much the remake. I don't like too much the remake.
You don't like the idea of it?
No.
Yeah. But you're right about the soundtracks back in the day. You know, that's what's literally one of many things that the last Kumite has going for it. We got Stan Bush. We got Paul Herzog. I listened to the score when I was in Germany, you know, with the executive producer, Sean David. Like, he played the score and the Stan Bush songs, you know, like, they're amazing, man. So I know they're in the final stages of editing and putting it all together. But from what I hear, it's turning out really good. That's probably about the closest you'll ever get to, like, another Bloodsport, in my opinion, even though it doesn't have Van Damme, of course. But it does capture a lot of that magic of like an 80s martial arts type film. Don's back. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Am I back? Because I see nothing.
Oh, you're back. We could see you. We can hear you. Well, we did for a second. Oh, nope, no audio, Don.
No audio.
Nothing.
Yeah, the audio is gone.
Look at Kapow Comic Book Show said the last Kumite is a Bloodsport remake, right, guys? Wink, wink. It definitely pays homage to Bloodsport, of course. You know, I mean, and there were so many. Like, man, just the cast of the last Kumite. I mean, it literally like the martial arts Expendables movie, right? Billy Blanks, Matthias Hughes, Cynthia Rothrock, Kurt McKinney, Muhammad Kisi, Abdel Kisi, Attila from Lionheart. You know, like, absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah.
And somebody did, I think, make a comment. Oh, if only Don Wilson did the last Kumite, maybe part 2. So yeah, Sean talked about doing a sequel, and there could definitely be sequel opportunity. Of course, it depends how the first one performs. You know, like how Don said earlier, look, the sequels get into discussion, of course, after you see how successful the first one is. But yeah, if they do a sequel, like, of course, Sean already has several people in mind, including Don Wilson, including probably Richard Norton, including like a lot of those other, like Gary Daniels would probably be really cool in it. Hey, let's see if Don's back, if we could hear him.
Just, can you hear me?
Yes. So going back to that question, like, would you be upset if they like remade Bloodfist, or would you be like, no, that's cool, I think they should remake it with somebody else?
They did a remake. I was in the middle of explaining it. They did a remake called Bloodfist 2050, which was starring Matt Mullins.
Okay.
And Roger Corman offered it to me, the movie, but when I read the script, it was so exactly the basic plot of Bloodfist that I didn't want to do the movie, because I felt like I'd be remaking my own film. And that's a bizarre thing. I did do it once for Roger Corman. I did it with a movie called Die Trying. I remade it, and the remake was called Moving Target. But it basically same plot, and I didn't want to do that again. So I passed on Bloodfist. It would have been my 9th Bloodfist. Bloodfist 2050. It was shot in the Philippines with Matt Mullins as a star. But no, it didn't bother me because, you know, the Bloodfist series, it's still, I think, the longest running one, isn't there? Is there any series of martial art movies that went further than 8?
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, I did 8 Bloodfists. Well, you know what? Yeah, and they were all different. You know, it was not like sequels.
Yeah, they weren't
used
true
the
sequels
title.
because you didn't play the same guy in them, which is weird.
Correct. I was a different guy. Well, the first two I was. My name was Jake Ray in the first one and Jake Ray in the second one. But by the third one, I think they had come to realize, Roger Corman said, Bloodfist means Don Wilson's the star and there's going to be martial arts. That's what it means. It doesn't mean we're following the same story, you know,
Yeah.
the same characters story. So that's what it meant to Roger Corman, that I was a star and it's going to be martial arts. And that's what the audience liked. I didn't see any complaints like, why isn't your name Jake Ray? People just accepted it. People just accepted these were sequels and I was a star. Except for the very last one, and then that was the last one they ever made, Bloodfist 2050. It was not me, and I guess it didn't perform well enough to be sequels. See, Alan, we're talking about the sequel to Shepherd Code.
Yeah,
but really,
yeah.
It's on the basis of the financial success of a movie that you make a sequel. Otherwise, there's no reason to make the sequel, right? If the audience is not like the first one, why would you get to the sequel?
This production company, first of all, know about Borrow Time, and they were impressed about the budget and the way I did it, and of course, like you said, more specifically right now, if you have big budget, you have to have a good marketing, a strong marketing for make your money back. Otherwise, you're done. So small movies sometimes can make the difference on marketing, But yes, of course, this production company watched the trailer of Shepherd Code, and the associate producer says, the producer seems interested about working on with you for a project, for made a movie. So I said, yeah, why not? I would love to do a sequel of Shepherd Code. So why not?
Very cool. And guys, if you're coming to the stream late, click the link in the description. There you can watch the Shepherd Code trailer. It links to Alan's YouTube page. So watch the trailer there. You will see Don heavily featured. Silvio Simek looks really good in it. Shout out to Jeff Langton. He's in the trailer. He looks really good in the trailer.
Jeff Langton, yes. He's a very, very, very amazing guy. Spent a great time to work with Jeff. Jeff is very likable. We have some fun on set. And of course, I enjoyed every minute doing this movie. Yes.
No, that's great to hear, man. That's great. Yeah. And then for you who may not know Jeff Langton, of course, had the very memorable scene in Lionheart playing Sonny in the parking garage, who tells Van Damme he's really good looking and he doesn't know if he wants to fight him or do something else with him. Yeah. Then he gets punched in the balls. Very memorable scene. Such a great guy. He's not like the Sonny guy in real life, luckily, because that guy kind of seems like a jerk. But the real Jeff Langton, great stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Great stand-up guy. And, hey, Alan, here's a question.
Yeah.
This from Andre in Poland. He said, Alan, what does the independent film market look like now? Are streaming platforms the only thing left, or is DVD dead?
Good question. But to be honest, I miss the old time. You make more money with hard copy, to be honest. With DVDs, it's like, I'm very happy because I show this. And I made in Borrow Time 3 made for 2 weeks best-selling DVD. I was surprised because I was in front with John Wick. I was in front with big movies. And I said, okay. So I was surprised. But I think what they love on this movie, that's the emotion I bring into it, the acting emotion. And like Don said, when I'm on set, I can joke, and action, I am not Alan anymore. I am my character. And that's, I'm always like that. So it's been for how long I work on movies. I start to be an actor in 2007, because before I was a martial art performer on TV, because I did a lot of demonstration on television in France, in Belgium. And so I decided to be an actor. But yeah, so I always be focused on what I do, and I never, give up. I always keep doing my work, improving. But yeah, DVDs back in the day sell way better than now because people watch streaming. But streaming, you need to have a strong market. Strong market make a big difference because independent film cannot compete against big blockbuster for one thing. It's not about the special effects or whatever. Marketing point. Because with a good marketing point, you can sell anything.
Well, here's a question, Alan. So the distributors that pick up your films, are they not really have a lot of money for the marketing budget?
No. Because right now, distribution company distribute your film, sell the right of your film to example foreign, like Germany, like France, Canada, all over the world. Okay, that's what they do in China, in Philippines, in Brazil. Okay, but they don't market like they used to be before. They don't spend too much money on marketing. So now, independent film, you have to have a strategy. It's like you have to do a lot of interview, a lot of press, a lot of magazine. That's what I fight every single day to push, the project in front. So interview, magazine, TV. Soon I will be on a nationwide French television to talking about everything. It's always pushing every day. It's a fight. It's because distribution now sell your movie. They sell everywhere, but it's not guaranteed on marketing point. You have to market your film like a producer, it's tough. It's tough right now, especially for indie film.
But you said you have more success and make more money on the actual hard copy DVD sales as opposed to streaming then.
Yeah, but DVD sell still okay because I saw that with my film. We make profit with DVDs, but not like it used to be. Because right now, when they sell on Walmart and everything, that's why they have a new concept right now called DVD on demand. Because if you they spend money on 20,000 copies and they sell 10,000 copies,
Sure,
you lost a lot. So now they said, okay, we have a 5,000 copy. They sell 5,000 copy and then they do on demand, so that's easier. They don't lose money with that.
Yes, that makes sense, Alan. Here's a question, man, and this would probably actually help demand. So like that, say that first run, they make 5,000 copies and then say those sell out and then they do another production run of 5,000 more. Are they exactly the same, or is it almost like a book where it's like when you have another production run, it's like, that's not the first edition, it's like a second printed one. So the people who would have bought the first 5,000, because people who buy the hard copies are like collectors, so there's value in buying that first print run. Or is there no difference when they make another 5,000?
No, they're not different right now, but
they should make it different.
No, I know you're right, but I was talking with my distributor because somebody approached me for Germany. Somebody from Germany for say, hey, you should do a box of Borrow Time trilogy. I said, yes, it's a good idea, and German version. A couple of people, when I was in Germany last month, I was with Costas Mandelor and also Catriona McCall, who will play your wife on Shepherd Code 2. She's a well-known.
He's already got a new movie wife already done.
Yeah. So and then yeah. It's a very tough, but in China, I was surprised. The quality of the DVD is better. People said, no, that's cheap. No, the quality is better than the US version. I was surprised. I was shocked.
Hey, Don, here's a question from, he just disappeared. We had one up that I was going to ask him. about what it was like filming Bloodfist 8 and Moving Target in Ireland. I would have never guessed he shot those in Ireland, of all places. Oh, here's a comment. Radical Trivia. Jared, hey, what's up, man? Hey, check out Radical Trivia YouTube channel because I did some interviews with Jared talking about some stuff. So check his channel out. He's a great interviewer guy, and you know, he interviews a lot of cool martial artists.
Great. Radical
Radical Trivia is the name of the YouTube channel. Guy's name is Jared. Nice guy. Really good jiu-jitsu grappler guy.
Oh, I will look an eye.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, I think Don's back. Let me try to find that question. Oh, we had a question for you, Don. If okay. What was it like filming Bloodfist 8 and Moving Target in Ireland?
Oh, technical problem.
Technical difficulties. Well, let's look at some of the comments. Maybe he'll be back. Oh, Radical Trivia. Jared said the full episode is going to be on the 13th. So October 13th, guys. And Don's he's coming in and out here, right?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. Hey, Nemo's podcast. Check his channel out too, guys. Another buddy I met because of the channel. He's also an actor, man. Good actor. So check his channel out, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared said, just got back from training at Jean-Jacques Machado's school. Cool. He says he's super nice.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. From Andre from Poland. Hey, Alan, do you plan on involving other martial arts stars in your films, like Lauren Avedon or Jeff Speakman, for example?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not? If the opportunity is in front of me, of course, always. Billy Blanks wants to be on the Shepherd Code #2. I speak with him because he didn't receive my text for his birthday, and he find out. He said, "Oh, sorry, I missed up your call and stuff for my birthday." I said, "Yeah, but we talk about. He saw the trailer of Shepherd Code, and he said, "Yeah, if you do a sequel, you can contact me for be on the sequel."
Can anybody hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh man.
So Shepherd Code 2 will almost be like a Bloodfist reunion of sorts with Don and Billy in the film.
Yeah. Why not a small fight again like Bloodfist with Billy and Don?
Oh yeah. Well, Don was coming in nice a second ago. Okay, here he is. Oh, Don, somebody wanted to ask you how
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, you can't hear us now. Don, what about now? Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man. Like his connection just must be horrible because you never had any technical glitches on your side. You're all the way in Paris. You know, you're coming in nice video stream, nice audio. But Don, man, he's got a
I think it's probably because he do it with his phone, probably.
Could be, man.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's why I always prefer to do with computer when we do interview because the connection can be better.
Okay. Well, if he comes back, which he should, we'll just ask him this last question. This is a kind of a cool one.
Yeah.
If he was in his prime right now, who would he like to do a fight scene with from this modern era of action stars? In fact, why don't you answer that question first? Like of the modern era of action stars, like who would you like to have a fight scene with?
Oh, yeah.
I hear you guys.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah, Don, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question. Conservative Black asks, Don, if you were in your prime right now, who would you like to do a fight scene with from this modern era of action stars?
Oh gosh, you know what? Well, the modern, I mean, I would like to work with some of the Chinese guys to tell you the truth. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, not because they're the new guys, but because I've grown up with them as well as everybody else, and yeah, it's a different style for me, so it'd be something different. I don't do the Hong Kong style fights. I do more realistic, but I think it'd be a good mixture. I would like to work with some of the, yeah, not necessarily the younger guys, although Scott Atkins is great. I'm not saying anything negative about them. But, for me, it'd be the older guys.
Well, the Jackie Chan and Jet Li are so different, though. Obviously, you'd have more of that comedic, playful aspect with Jackie, but Jet Li would be more visceral and hardcore. Like, given the choice, which of those two guys?
Well, I think it'd look better with Jet Li because Jackie does, like you said, does the comedy, and I'm not experienced. I've done a few movies that had comedy in them, but I wasn't the comedic character. Between the two of them, if you boil it down, I guess I'd like to do action with Jet Li, and the only thing that is kind of negative about it is this: Jet Li is a lot shorter than me. I've met him, and I always feel like my bad guy should be bigger than me. Otherwise, I come off like a bully.
Sure.
Although the height of your opponent should not weigh in as much as we value it in films. It's like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. I doubt you're going to see them in a movie together again, because Tom Cruise had to be on lifts and apple boxes. To stand next to Brad Pitt and look like the same height was a hard thing to do. They had to spend a lot of time, energy, and money on a movie set to make Tom Cruise look as tall as Brad Pitt. So, I think one of the reasons why I didn't work as a regular on Walker, Texas Ranger is Chuck is a middleweight. He fought at 160 and he's a little shorter than me, and it just wouldn't look good for Walker to be looking up at an Asian guy.
Well, you would be the bad guy because it's Chuck's show, so it would work. So in film, obviously, the hero needs to be the underdog.
Well, if I was one episode of Walker, but I mean, I was asked to be a season regular. I mean, a series regular, and in the end, it didn't work out. And I pretty much think it was a business decision that it doesn't look good for the Texas Ranger to have a guy taller than him in every episode. And I understand that. That's just business. It's not Chuck with an ego or anything. Chuck was probably trying to do me a favor, putting out feelers to see if I was interested in being a regular on Walker. And when I don't know what my agent actually said to them, because my agent did all the negotiations. But if he did what I told him, which is to accept any amount Chuck wanted to pay me, I was going to be a season regular on Walker. And
that would have been cool.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Didn't happen. I've never asked Chuck about it.
I'll have to ask him someday if I ever interview him then. Funny story behind you and Chuck's history. Wasn't it him that basically convinced you to pursue the movie thing after your fight career?
Chuck's the one who gave me the confidence to do it, because Chuck said, Don, you need to move out to LA, get an acting class, get an agent, and try this as a second career, because he said it worked for him. Bruce Lee put him in one movie. He raised the money for the next 3 movies. And then he had his contract with Canon Films. And so it did end up being a great second career for Chuck. He suggested it to me, which gave me the confidence, David, to do it.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, hey, Amar, Nemo's podcast. We cover Expendables a little bit. He had a 2-part question, Don. I don't know if you're still with us. Your connection's in and out. He's asking, would you ever do an Expendables movie? Don, are you still muted? Yeah, if you look earlier in the podcast, Don did talk about it. He said 100%. There's no reason why he would ever turn that down. Unfortunately, he was not offered it at this point. We don't know what he thinks about the Expendables film, though, unless unless his audio comes back. Well, unless you can read lips, man, we just won't know. So, hey, Alan, same question that I asked Don earlier, or that one guy wanted to ask Don. Like, if you had a choice, like, of the modern era of action stars, like, who would you want to do a fight scene with?
Scott, for the modern Scott, yes.
Oh, Scott Adkins?
Yeah, Scott,
Okay.
because if I have to pick up two people, yeah, Scott, and why not Jackie? But Jackie, it's very speed differently on the. It's a very Hong Kong. But Scott, what I love with Scott, he can do both. He can do Hong Kong, he can do US style.
Oh,
So
sure.
that's why he can do both. That's why it's great, you know.
Yeah, I would, like, if I had a choice, I'd probably say Jason Statham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be intense. He's got that more that raw, intense style, man. That would be something. But
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yes.
see if Don comes back. What are the comments we have? Okay, we went through. This guy, you might go back to it. You never know. I don't even know what question you guys are referring to right here. Oh, Alan, what are your memories of working with Eric Roberts? He's a great actor.
Yeah. I have working 2 times with him and spent a great time. And what I know, for instance, with Eric, when you work with him, you need to be on time. You need to be prepared, and straight. Don't waste your time. And that's what I do, and we enjoyed it, and that's why I come back to Borrow Time 3. And yeah, it was fun to work with him. When it's action, he's into character, so he do his routine. You know it's professional, and he's very. You can feel it. It's when you work with professional, you learn so much.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I recently worked with Richard Tyson, who's an amazing actor. Of course, he's the lead villain in Kindergarten Cop. Anyway, I have a very memorable scene with him in Bloodstorm. But like you said, you could learn a lot from these guys just spending time with them, Like, I try to, like, even when I was on Last Kumite, like, I was literally getting tips for film fighting from Billy Blanks. I was getting acting tips from, like, Kurt McKinney. It was just, like, so surreal, man. So awesome. But yeah, I'm just like a sponge trying to soak stuff up from all these veterans, these talented veterans.
With people like that. With Eric, it was amazing when I working with him. So we have good chemistry and smooth, and everything was perfect.
Nice. One last question before we go. One last question for Don. I'm very curious about this too.
Can you hear me?
Mitchell, yes, we can hear you. Hopefully we get you long enough to answer this question. He said, I remember Don had plans to make the B Team movie with action stars that were in the Expendables. Whatever happened to that movie?
Well, we got it financed in Papua New Guinea, of all places. And Cynthia Rothrock, the producer Bill Gottlieb, and I flew to the Papua New Guinea. We had a fundraising event. They raised the money. And then the local politicians that had okayed it or had said they were going to finance it out of most of it is going to come from the government. They got voted out of office.
Wow.
And the next elections, while we were in pre-production to shoot, it was going to be an action comedy though, which is unusual for me, but there was comedy in it. Well, the name of it sounds like a comedy, right? The B Team.
Yeah, sure.
Because the A Team was the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the B Team, which is going to be a bunch of B movie guys. But it was an action comedy, and we had a script. I don't know where it is now, but the financing fell through because the actual politicians that okayed it were voted did not win their next elections. So that's what happens. You know, if we'd have shot the movie in a couple of months, we'd have got it in and out. It would have been a success, I'm pretty sure. And then after that, if the government didn't want to fund it, any producer would like to get a franchise. Like if you're going to put money up, it would be great if you did Bloodfist, right? If you could do Bloodfist or with me, because there's been 8 successful ones. So you're just, if you get a little bit of that success, it's like an easier, it's less of a gamble. In other words, that's why they did this movie or the TV series Cobra Kai, because of the success of the Karate Kid. When you have successes, if you can build off a success, then you got something. You've got a franchise, you know, to do it over and over. Yeah. So if Shepherd Code is a success, then it makes sense to immediately come with a sequel. But you're doing the right thing, preparing for it anyway. And listen, there have been movies like, let's say, Terminator. They didn't know if that was going to make profit or not. But based on the first one, look how much bigger budget the second one was. They knew they had a moneymaker then. And they felt fully confident. Whatever company, I don't know, it was TriStar. It was a bigger company made the sequel, I'm pretty sure. But they knew the first one was a success. And the second one, of course, big success. I think at the time it was one of the highest costing movies. And Schwarzenegger got $15 million for that.
Wow.
The second one. Yeah. And that was, he set the bar for all the other stars, A-list actors.
For sure. Quick question, Don. Like, who was attached to direct the B team?
Probably Art Camacho.
Art Camacho was going to direct it?
I'm pretty sure, because he's what I called, especially in those days, my go-to director. If I had a project, if I got Art, I knew I wouldn't have to worry about anything as far as director. He was talented, hardworking. He understood the importance of the martial art action. You know, here's what the problem is with some directors. They don't realize that the people renting the movies are not renting my movies at the time in the 90s for the acting scenes, the drama. If they wanted that, they'd get a different genre movie. The fight action is what they're renting the movie. So they just wanted to shoot a master of the fight and get out of it as quick as possible. When what they really should have been doing was scheduling as many hours as they could, maybe running 2 to 3 cameras at a time to get the fight action perfect. So the movie would be more financially successful. But if you think about it, as directors, they want to prove they know how to direct. And they don't want to be locked into only one genre, martial arts genre. So they want to show that they can direct the drama properly. And so I think I literally had we had an action scene. It was going to be 12 hours of action. And the director came up to me and said, Don, we're not going to be able to shoot any action today because, you know, we don't have time for it. And I said, we don't have time for the action in a Don Wilson movie? Well, basically, I fired that director. So if you want to, Alan, if you want to know when you fire the director, when the director comes up to you and tells you he doesn't have time for your fight action, you tell him, you know what? I'm making a martial art movie. You can leave the set, because that's what I end up doing. I end up having to fire that director. And yeah, the movie ended up being a success and everything. But I brought in Art Camacho to finish the film. You know, so yeah, he's my go-to guy, and now he's doing his own things. I believe he just got done directing a $5 million movie.
Oh, nice.
So you know, his career's taken off. Yeah, and one of the directors, Rick Jacobson, became a television producer, and as a director, he became a producer. And yeah, the success of a lot of guys I started in the business transcended working with me again. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the success of any of the actors that I've worked with, any of the producers, any of the directors, writers. Yeah, you got to be that way. I believe in the entertainment business, because like Chris Penn used to tell me, my best friend, it's a roller coaster ride. You go up and down. Maybe at the end of these 6 movies, I'll be doing A-list movies by then. Well, I don't know. But as long as they're offering me to produce my movies, I'm gonna work hard to produce the movies that make money, because I don't want to be making money unless the producer's making money.
Oh, sure.
And
And who
I don't know if
knows? I mean, look what happened to Liam Neeson late in his career. Like he never started off as an
yeah,
action guy, but later in his career, like in his
no,
60s, he's like the go-to action guy and does a great job.
yeah.
One last question,
Well, listen,
Don,
I'm
related
going
to
to do
beat.
age appropriate characters.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
I'll
sure.
play age appropriate characters. I'm not going to do the thing where you try to be the up and coming kickboxer. I mean, you know, I'm already.
You're the Rocky
It's
Balboa in
unusual
Rocky
to
6,
have a guy.
basically.
What's that?
You'd have to be the
Oh,
Rocky
Stallone? Yeah,
Balboa in
right.
Rocky 6. Still great role, but age appropriate.
Right. I'll be the trainer. I'll be the trainer.
Don, one last question
but
related to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one last question related to B Team. So it was going to be you, Cynthia. Like, who were the other big martial art
Richard
legends that
Norris,
were going to be in it?
Michael Dudikoff.
Dudikoff. Who else? Oh boy, he's muted again. You're Don. Don, we're not hearing you, man. No audio. No audio. Lost him again, guys. Yeah, we'll wrap this up in a minute. We're going on 2 hours. We'll just let Don come back and say bye to everybody. But who knows, man? Maybe they'll bring back that B Team movie, Alan. Like, I don't see why they couldn't if it was really just the financing that fell
why
through.
not? Why not?
I mean, if Last Kumite is successful, then like they'd probably really want to like bring all these guys back for more movies, you know?
Yeah.
T-Virus Terrence, as far as I'm concerned, Don is one of the. Oh, here, I'll read this to you, Don. T-Virus Terrence says, as far as I'm concerned, Don is one of the baddest fighters ever. So a lot of respect for you in the movies and, of course, the fight background. Don is still muted. Oh, hey guys, since Don's muted, Don, we can't hear you. Bare Knuckles Scene UK, Viking, are you still coming on? So I'm going to go live briefly an hour from now on that UK channel with Video Craig, who said some not so nice stuff about me a few weeks ago, but, you know, I'm happy to have a conversation, talk about some stuff for fun. Nemo's podcast. Worked with Eric Roberts when he wrapped the film. I definitely had to ask him about Best of the Best and The Dark Knight. He was very humble. He answered all my questions. Yeah, man, Eric Roberts was in some really, really good stuff. Oh, Bare Knuckles Scene UK. We are waiting to go live at Video Craig. I thought that was 4:00 Eastern, man. Like, I'm gonna wrap this up. So if it's 3:00 Eastern, I'll jump on with you guys. But
oh yeah, it's 9. So yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah. So it's 9.
Well, we gotta. Oh, this guy said 8 p.m. Like, that's 8 p.m. your time, man. I think is that an hour from now or two? Or
9.
Anyway, we'll get into that later. T-Virus Terrence, Viking Samurai. Sorry I'm late, but I hope Don was able to hear my kind words. I don't know if you heard. I read his comment earlier, Don. He just basically, you know, gave you great respect for being one of the baddest fighters on the planet.
Oh, well, I'm appreciative of that because that's my real quote claim to is kickboxing, not really the acting.
Yeah, it's so cool that you were so successful in both realms, though, because I can't really think of a guy who was that successful in both fields. Now, obviously, Benny was great kickboxing, but he didn't have the movie career like you did. You take someone like Jean-Claude Van Damme, huge movie career. Obviously, he didn't have the fighting career. I can't really think of somebody who like excelled and was dominant in both because, like you mentioned, your 4 HBO world premieres were #1. All your movies made money. Obviously, the kickboxing record speaks for itself. I can't really think of somebody else that dominated in both fighting and movies. Yeah, Don's frozen again. So, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We're 2 hours in. We answered a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, check out Alan's movie, The Shepherd Code. Watch the trailer linked in the description below. Don, thanks for coming out. Thanks so much for spending time. Say bye to everybody if you can. He might be on mute again, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I read his lips. He said, thanks, everyone, for showing up. He says bye. He had a wonderful time. Okay, thanks, Alan. We're going to go ahead and cut the stream.
Yeah.
All right, later, man.
Yeah, thank you.